Hello folks, this is part one of my Munich Motor Show coverage. I'm going to cut to it in a minute. I just want to do an intro for you because we were going to end the day at the open space. So part of the show's at the Expo Centre, part of the show's in the city centre itself, in this outdoor space. And we thought we were going to that this afternoon because everything has suggested that's what you do. We've arrived and they're still building it, so I'm going to show you a bit of that at the very end of this, but I'm going to do a separate video on that. Hopefully it'll be out tomorrow or the next day, but I'll get it out as quickly as possible. Enjoy. Hello folks, I'm here today at IAA Munich 2025. It's going to be an absolutely awesome day, loads and loads to see, loads of big unveils today. I'm going to miss those because they're not very good in the video, and I'd rather get around the stands while there aren't crowds of people there. But I will show you all the cars being unveiled, all the important stuff. Huge thanks to 𝙇𝙄𝙉𝙆𝙎 for essentially paying for my travel for me to get over here today. Things like this are not possible without great sponsors, and 𝙇𝙄𝙉𝙆 is certainly a great sponsor. Link to them coming up on the screen for you and in the video description. Let's crack on. I just want to show you why I don't really hang around for these press conferences and launches, and it's because this is what you're greeted with. So I'm going to come back to VW later. Volvo here, we've got the EX30 Cross Country, and they've gone for a very adventurous setup with this one. Got some fairly crazy lights and rack on that one, and then we have the ES90, so I fall over the stage. Enjoyed my trip. That's the ES90. There you go. Now how much you can see through that window, but it's very Polestar on the interior, as you would expect. We've got an Ioniq 6 over here. This is Go Connectivity. What have we got here? Project Urban 2.3. So that's like a little electric tricycle stroke moped kind of thing. I'm not sure what the official name for these kind of vehicles is, but there is one. There's another one without the lid on. And then this little moped version of it. Google here. It's crazy seeing all these tech companies, you know. I know Samsung have got a massive presence here, and Google, but when you think about it, like their importance in future cars only grows, doesn't it? Because of things like Android Auto, and obviously we've got cars now running on Android-based infotainment systems, and the whole integration of this stuff's only going to grow and grow and grow. There's of course the Renault 5, which I think has got that Android-based system. Who else have we got here? Almovio. So this is another technology company. Wow. I guess they're developing systems for manufacturers to buy and chuck in their cars. Okay, so we've got CATL up here. You might not be aware of CATL, but they're a huge battery manufacturer, and lots of electric car manufacturers are using CATL batteries. And here are some of those CATL batteries. You've got the CATL Freevoy dual power battery, and there's sort of a mock-up drivetrain, if you like. That's all quite colourful, isn't it? Lots of people are taking spills on these stands. And there is actually a bit of a rolling chassis. And I'm guessing the dignitary from CATL, because lots of men are falling over themselves to get footage of him. Smart now, we've got the Smart number 5, or hashtag 5, which I think is quite a cool looking thing. It gives me, like, at back end, gives me what's the one I'm looking for? Kia Soul vibes, and maybe even Nissan Cube, if you know what one of those is. We've also got the #3 over here, which was unveiled earlier. I think there's a special version of the car, the Keith Haring art car. There you go. So Keith has done a bit of drawing all over it. It's quite a nice car. If you haven't checked out the smart stuff yet, it's really quite nice in terms of interior design, and it's not all complete frippery. It's actually a nice thing to live with. I must try and get some in for review on the channel. There you go. Keith's had a right old go at this, hasn't he? You go for it, Keith. This is the one that I expected to be unveiled by now. There's going to be a 2, so kind of a smaller, something that's going to sit between the 1 and 3, I guess, which is why they've called it the 2. I know you come here for that sort of hard-hitting journalism, folks. I don't like to disappoint, folks. Some sort of little autonomous bus stroke taxi kind of thing. 6 seats in there, and a couple of jump seats. You've got 8 seats in that. Quite a cool piece of design. It's the Alvatech Mika 2.0 next generation autonomous shuttle. Folks, let me tell you a bit more about VCheck, the sponsors of today's video. If you want a complete vehicle history check and you don't want to pay 20 quid plus for it, but you want all the valuable information, and actually more than you will get on a lot of the big names, check out VCheck. The top check is £10 and the checks start from just 3. And what VCheck can do that lots of the others won't is show you salvage history. And not just the history, but actual photos of the car if it ever went through a salvage auction. You may or may not know that insurance companies can write off a vehicle and never have to register it. And that's simply because the registration on the MyAfter database is voluntary at the moment. And that means you could buy a car, you could pay 20, 30 grand for it, even at main dealers. There are loads of examples at main dealers that will show up as completely clear, never been written off on most history checks, but then when you run it on VCheck, you'll find a picture of the car that's in a salvage auction in a bit of a bad state. So it's well worth doing for a bit of peace of mind if you are buying yourself a car. Links in the video description, and there's a QR code on the screen. And again, massive thanks to VCheck for making this trip possible. Here at the XPeng stand, this is the G9 SUV. This is the largest SUV from XPeng. Try and get it in shot for you, that'd be helpful, wouldn't it? It's got the 800 volt system, so you've got super fast charging, ranged up to 350 miles, and you can see it's very much a business class experience. And then let's have a look at the front. That's not a bad looking thing at all. Launching alongside the P7, which is the big story here today on the XPeng stand. We've also got the G6, and I've just seen a ridiculous lease deal on that if you watch my channel regularly, where unbelievably you could get one of these for, I don't know, 250 quid or something daft. And this is the facelift version, so it's a very slight revision. I think we're going to get this in early 2026 in the UK, which is possibly why we've just seen those crazy cheap deals, possibly clearing some old stock. There's the G9 again. Let's have a look at the infotainment system. That's all mega snappy. The driver information display is very familiar if you've driven any of these modern Chinese cars. You've also got another massive screen over here, so your passenger, by the looks of it, can, and you've got acres of rear legroom in there. That's really impressive. And look at that seat comfort, electrically controlled as well in the rear. And here is the P7. So there's a better shot of the back of the P7. Don't mind the look of that at all. So we've got rear wheel powertrain, 274 horsepower, 6.7 seconds to 60. There's also an all-wheel drive with 466 horsepower, 4.1 to 60. Then we've got, what is it, an 86 kilowatt hour battery. 370 miles WLTP is what we're expecting on this one. It's possibly going to be around about 80 grand, but as yet it's difficult to say for sure. Let's give you a little glimpse of the inside there. Lots of ambient lighting, really nice materials and things. Yeah, looks nice. And again, XPeng are very tech heavy at this. I'm actually coming here for a little presentation later, and I'll probably do a couple of shorts with it. But you've got the XPeng AI robot, which is called Iron. Another P7 over here in this crazy green, which I think shows off the lines a bit better. That's a very cool looking car. I've got a lot of time for that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And this is crazy. So this is some sort of inductive charging, where you would have this installed, I guess, in your garage, and then you literally just drive the car over the top of it and it will charge it. The music's very, very loud in there. Here's the ID, everyone. So if you're not familiar with it, this is the concept to basically replace the VW Up, or the E-Up. Stats look very similar to the E-Up in fairness, but the design of this thing is a massive step forward, I think it's fair to say. The wheels look absolutely amazing on this. Have a look at those. I'm loving that as a design. Obviously this is just a concept. Judging by the glass and the state of those wheels, that's a model more than an actual roller. But yeah, it's a nice piece of design and a real step up from that E-Up. So I'm guessing we'll also see a Skoda variant of that at some point, and possibly even a Seat if they're still going. More likely a Cupra, I would say.
Great, awesome.
Possibly. Here at Audi now with the Q3 Sportback e-hybrid. This is an all-new car, but it does feel like, certainly on the exterior design, more evolutionary than it is revolutionary. When we look at the interior though, you can see that things have moved on a bit. You've got now like a wraparound driver information display and infotainment system, a couple of phone chargers down there, wireless phone chargers, and still piano black plastic. I absolutely hate piano black plastic. Hate it with a passion, actually. Familiar steering wheel, and we've got buttons on here still, although they are, I don't know, not the best, but it's got a button-like feel. It's clicking properly. It's maybe a better look of the outside of the car. Lovely wheels. It's been some great wheels at the show so far. I think it's a return to good looking wheels that a lot of manufacturers seem to forget about. Seats down there, you can see it's massively spacious for what is really quite a small car, you know. There you go. I like that. So this is it, the ID Polo. I think VW have played a masterstroke here by not calling this the ID2 and bringing back that Polo badge, because what a badge it is. Stats on this, 250 to 280 miles WLTP, I believe. I don't have the final stats because I obviously wasn't at the press conference. Standard and GTI versions. It's a very striking looking thing, even in this crazy sort of, I don't know what you call it. It's not camo, is it? But I guess it's going to be locked. It is going to be locked. But we can have a little look inside. It's probably still pre-production, which is why it's locked. And then we've got the GTI version over here, which is, this is like a kitchen at a party at the moment. here we go. I'm just going to jump over here. Those amazing wheels like we saw on the Golf concept, but that's a great looking thing. And as I said, I'm so glad they've called that a Polo again. Oh, after you guys. Cheers.
Wow.
Thanks a lot. Another one of the big cars today is the Cooper Raval, or Ravel, or Raval, or I'm going to call it a Ravel. And there we go. You would think they'd have all the stats here for these cars, but alas, we don't have any, so I'm giving you very limited information. Then we've got the Skoda Epic. So this is a very cool looking little SUV. I personally absolutely love the styling on these new Skodas, particularly the electric ones actually. I think that looks fantastic. Nice wheels. Can't get into any of the cars on this stand, hence you're not getting very good interior footage from me, I'm afraid. And you'll forgive me for some of this footage not being the best, but you know, you can see what I'm up against. Then we've got the ID Cross concept, which is really a jacked up Polo. Again, very cool. Again, awesome wheels. I mean, I'm actually in love with these wheels. Let's have a look at the back of that one. There you go, that's going to sell bucket loads, isn't it? Let's face it. Absolutely bucket loads. So here's Chang'an. They've obviously got Avatar as a brand, but also their own cars. They've got the 𝙇𝙄𝙉𝙆𝙎 5 and 𝙇𝙄𝙉𝙆𝙎 7, I think, coming out today. They've actually invited me to go onto the stand later, and I'm going to do that as a dedicated video. So I want to get this one out as quickly as possible, and I don't think that's going to happen until a bit later. So I'll do a separate video on that, so keep your eyes open for that in the next day or two. Don't even know how to read that. It's another autonomous sort of pod type vehicle, which looks absolutely bonkers. I mean, this is Johnny Cab from Total Recall, isn't it? It really is. Crazy looking stuff. I mean, these kind of things are like science fiction becoming reality. I think it's quite scary, really, if you go back and look at a lot of science fiction movies of, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago, how much of it is now reality. And with all this AI stuff here, let's hope Terminator doesn't become reality. We've got electric drivetrain manufacturers, we've got technology, technology, and technology.
We are loyal to our customers.
Wow, cars. Right, okay, we've got Opel, so obviously Vauxhall. This is the GSE Gran Turismo Corsa concept. The GSE Vision. It says extreme design study for 20. This is a study of extreme design for the 2027 Corsa. Future hot hatch with GSE branding is the focus of this one, and the price, they're saying between 20 and 22, which when you compare it to the current Corsa would be not actually all that horrendous. Obviously this is purely a concept, and we've seen from lots of manufacturers before that final production versions end up looking absolutely nothing like concept, but as a concept and a bit of a design, that's pretty radical, especially for a brand like Vauxhall or Opel. Of course, it wouldn't be the Munich Motor Show without a big presence from Mercedes. and they're showing off a few cars here. Okay, so we've got the concept AMG 𝙇𝙄𝙉𝙆𝙎. It's got 1,360 horsepower, capable of 360 kilometers an hour, 400 kilometer WLTP range, capable of in excess of 850 kilowatt charging. That seems absolutely bananas. This is obviously only a concept, and any production vehicle based on it could be wildly different from those numbers, but wow. Wow. Now that's a very striking looking car, isn't it? So people filming absolutely everywhere. I'm going to try and get a bit of the back end for you. Very cool indeed. This is not going to be the best footage in the world, but it is what it is. Right, okay, so we have the new GLC EV. Anyway, you walk, you're in someone's shot. Dedicated EV chassis is not adapted from the EQC. 300 to 370 miles WLTP is expected on this one. What is it in reality? They haven't told us. 489 PS of power. Again, it's it's got 800 Newton meters of torque. 637 kilometers of range, they're saying, but it doesn't have a WLTP next to it. So again, that could be estimated. 4.3 seconds 0 to 62, and 94 kilowatt hour battery. There's the GLC again. And there's the interior. Let's just have a quick look at the back row. As you'd expect, very, very plush. Lovely materials. And loads of legroom. That's a gorgeous thing inside. Big running boards on that. And I might get a better shot of this one now. Yeah, I'm just going for it. Here we go. Have a look inside there. Very nice. This is called a Holon Urban, and it seems to be a little automated bus. And this is mad. Mark's disappeared. He's a big bus fan. You can see all the stops here. Obviously, you can get 9 people seated in here, but you've also got grab handles and things. And you've got all of the information. You've got like emergency buttons. You can ping to say you want to stop, just like on a normal bus. So these are currently about to start a test phase in Hamburg, which will go on for some time, I think to the end of this year or possibly end of next year. And then they're planning to roll them out into Jacksonville in Florida. They're actually being produced in Jacksonville. From then, they will be produced in Europe as well. And then the final phase of production will be in Saudi Arabia. So yeah, 3 production facilities are planned, and they've got high hopes for this technology. You do use an app, but the stop requests are there for sort of backup purposes, really, and I guess safety purposes. I don't know. I guess if you're using the app and you lose signal or something, or decide you want to get off somewhere else, then it's there for that protection. But impressive stuff from Holon. It's one of these Firefly EVs here. This is quite a cool little car. I know we've talked about this on the podcast before. Charging status, if you've never listened to it. Electric Car Podcast, go and subscribe to that wherever you consume your podcasts. I think these are coming to the UK. I wasn't expecting to see one of these, so I haven't got any information for you. And I've slept since I last looked at any, so apologies for that, but quite a striking little car, I think. It's giving me sort of Honda E vibes. but a little bit bigger. Right folks, I'm back at BMW. Let's have a little look around. So we've got the iX5 hydrogen. A lot of people think hydrogen in passenger cars is not going to take off, certainly in the UK, because of its availability, price, difficulty to produce, and transport. Added to that, you've also got sort of concerns about the fact that it's way less efficient than a battery electric car at the moment. Don't forget, a hydrogen electric car is still an electric car. It just basically has to have hydrogen in a fuel cell, which you have to use electricity to make. That then goes into the car that has to transfer that hydrogen back into electricity. So all of that suggests a fair amount of inefficiency. Let's look at the numbers on it. So we're looking at 401 PS of power. 0-60 time under 6 seconds. Just look at the numbers on it. You're looking at 401 PS of power, 0-60 in under 6 seconds. It still looks like a fairly serious piece of kit. It's 0-60 in under 6 seconds. We've got BMW X3 here. This one, I think it's the 2-litre diesel they've got on show here. It's still a good looking car. Look at those light up grills. Has got a bit of presence to it. Yeah, it's the 2-litre diesel X-Drive, this one in M Sport trim. 89,000 euros. Come on, have a word. It's all in a bit German, and my German is even worse than my Welsh, and I don't speak Welsh. BMW M5, look at that. That's still the daddy. It's the Touring, of course. That's just an incredible machine, an absolutely incredible machine. And in that purple, it's appealing to my special place. We've got some of their wall boxes and things that will look very nice. You've got the V8 M hybrid engine here, which is a super impressive piece of kit. That's what you're obviously getting in the M5. They've got examples of their battery packs, their electric motor systems, so all exciting stuff. But this is the big news of the show as far as the BMW stand's concerned. I did wonder if they'd surprise us with a new 3 Series or something, but they haven't. It's the iX3, but it's the first car of the new class. You've probably already seen some stuff on this. This one here is 78,000 euros, but the stats on it are massively impressive. So we're looking at 500 miles WLTP range, 800 volt architecture. It can charge it up to 400 kilowatts. That means 220 miles in 10 minutes of charging, if you've got access to a fast enough charger, which I think we'll have soon, because there are loads of companies here that are talking about incredibly fast chargers. 463 horsepower, dual motor, 4.9 seconds to 60, and it's got 43-inch curved display with a Super Brain ECU and bi-directional charging. Production starts late 2025, and I've got a feeling the start price is around about 60,000, but I'm not 100% sure on that front. We've got it in white there, and there's a lovely blue one over here. So let's cut through these wonderful people and show you it in blue. It's quite an imposing front end, and as you can see, no expense spared on the stand here at BMW. The other piece of kit we've got over on the BMW stand is the Mini Deus Ex Machina edition. What can I tell you about this? They say it takes extreme variants of the Mini hatch and puts together motorsport and custom car culture into one beast, and here it is. Certainly makes a statement, doesn't it? You can see some fairly raw, unfinished fiberglass panels bolted on there, and sort of the hazard tape doors. It's got modded interiors, exteriors. It's concept only. Whether that'll inspire an actual production version of any kind, I don't know. Somehow I doubt it, but I could definitely see that inspiring a motorsport version of the car. There's a man with an impressive beard in the interior, and look at that spoiler. Very cool idea with this sort of unfinished fiberglass, and then you can see the door panels are very bare bones. Got some plastic bucket seats. That amazing round OLED screen, the first round OLED screen, and it appeared in a car. That's where car technology is going. Very cool. They've also showed off this sort of electric scooter kind of thing. Now, I don't have any information on this whatsoever, so apologies for that. But you don't come here for details, do you, folks? You come here for rambling and dad jokes. So there we go. I could see this being a massive hit in Europe actually, but probably less so in the UK. But loads of European cities, people are just bombing around on these things everywhere, aren't they? Imagine something like this would be a lot easier to navigate a city like Rome in than a car, but you've still got a little bit of extra protection than you'd normally have on a scooter. It is fully electric, and I think it's quite stylish. And there's another iX3 in silver. That would probably be one of the most popular colours in the UK, I'd imagine, because we don't really do colour with our cars, do we? And this version, it's the iX350 xDrive, and starts at €69,000. But this one is nearly €85,000. This is very cool. This is like a crazy sort of art installation. And really they're just showing you the features of this all new iDrive system and how everything works with the dash. They've made a giant dashboard effectively, and that's incredibly impressive. They've done this. Forget about anything in the car, just the actual presentation they've put on it is pretty impressive. So you can see the screen here and how when using the screen it changes sort of the top line of sight on the dash. There you go. So we're now on that home screen, and these are all your sort of standard bits of information. So lots of cars now have kind of a mini iPad as your driver information display, and what they've done is taken more information but spread it further across the dash. And the most important stuff obviously being in front of the driver, like your speed, the current speed limit, state of charge, time, all that kind of stuff. And then over here you've got the stuff that's, you can probably say frippery a little bit. You've got a compass, you've got the current temperature and weather and all that kind of stuff. Looks like it's all really nicely integrated, and wow, pretty impressive stuff. Here is the interior of the iX3. I've somehow managed to get in behind the barriers. Don't know how I've managed to do that, but there we go. Quite a squared off steering wheel. Again, square steering wheels seem to be making a comeback. Austin Allegro lives again. Someone's left their notes in here. You can see that massive screen, and then there's what I was talking about. We've got this, it's almost like a head-up display, but it's not on the windscreen. And that's really effective. It's really bold. And I much prefer that to like the sort of little iPad that you're getting on, especially a lot of the Chinese cars. It's also, of course, got a head-up display, so you should remain fairly well informed. Seats are lovely, nice. This is kind of a cloth material like we've seen in the Minis, which is again an interesting choice, and it certainly beats the hell out of piano black plastic. And there's another look around inside. This is the first, obviously, BMW new class vehicle that's come out. This really does feel like the next step of their car design, and not just a polish up from the previous versions. Great stuff. We've just arrived at the open space section of the Munich Motor Show, and they're still building it. So it looks like it opens tomorrow. So I'm going to do a separate video on that tomorrow. I don't know if it will come out tomorrow or if it'll end up coming out later in the week, but stay tuned for that. Hopefully we're going to see more cars, because in the main expo centre there, I thought it was a bit of a letdown. It was great to see the stuff from BMW, from VW, Xpeng was quite cool, the Chang'an stuff was quite cool, one or two other bits and bobs, But all in all, I felt it was too tech heavy and there weren't enough cars for my liking, and we didn't see like BYD, Renault, a lot of brands that you'd think would have been in there, and it's probably just because they're all going to be here. So another video coming on that as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, see you on the next one. Huge thanks to all my channel members for your continued support, I really do appreciate it.